guys, I'm Penance, and this is part 2 of the 2015/Advanced Warfare ANZ COD Community Overview. If you have not yet seen part 1, I have linked it in the description below, so check it out, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos on ANZ COD, Destiny, and some other stuff. The second half of the year starts off at the end of June at ACL Sydney. With only 1 month separating Sydney and the previous LAN, ACL Brisbane, the question on everyone's minds was which teams would be going through roster Mania. The Avant-Garde roster splintered after Brisbane. Hopi left to join Incept, the team who had beaten Avant at Brisbane LAN, and Hysteria went on hiatus. This left Iskatu and Wolfie to pick up Blue, who was a player from the faction, and the untried player Barney. The current Trident roster also made some changes. After somehow regaining ownership of the T1 name, they picked up Jarzen, previously of Textbook Gaming, to replace Fate as the team's fourth. Fate, of course, left to join Integral, along with Zeus, Swifty, and Luca. Sydney LAN itself, Avant caused an upset early on day 1 when they swept Mindfreak 3-0 in pool play. Trident, meanwhile, were enjoying an unbroken winning streak in their pool. Incept was another team with a stellar performance in pool play, finishing the day without losing a single map. Now, Sydney LAN provided the battleground for the ongoing rivalry between Avant and Trident. There had been tension between the two names since Iskatu's defection from Trident to Avant and controversy surrounding ownership of the T1 name. Trident T1 beat Avant early in the winners bracket on the second day, but when these two teams met up again in the semi-final game, sparks flew over the intense matchup. The riveting final game of this series was on Detroit Hardpoint. We saw Avant come back from an 85-point deficit. Two teams then traded scrap time until the very end. Ultimately, it was Trident who won the game, taking the series 6-4 over Avant. You can find this game linked in the description below. It is absolutely worth watching. First place at Sydney, of course, went to Mindfreak. Trident T1 came in a well-deserved second place, and Avant came in third. To go back a little bit, in early June, a couple of weeks before the ACL Sydney LAN, ACL actually announced that they would be running an online Call of Duty league. I won't go into too much detail as I am trying just to focus on the major offline events. However, I will touch on it just a little. So for 5 weeks, 8 teams competed in a round-robin fashion to determine who would qualify for the league playoffs. On July 19th, the top 4 teams from the pool competed in a double elimination bracket to determine the winners of this online league. It was Integral Nation who took out first place, Team Skyfire was second, third and fourth place went to Uproar Ignitions and Mindfreak respectively. The next offline event was the Does Play 10K. This was a much anticipated event held on the Gold Coast at the end of July. So let's go through some of the team changes that occurred between Sydney and the 10K. Within about 2 weeks of the Sydney event, we saw the reformation of Avant-Garde. Beeston, Damage, and Chileans left Trident to rejoin Iskatu under the Avant banner, and they inexplicably dropped the T1 name. Fate, of course, had left to play on Integral. We then saw a Powerhouse Pickup team form from some of the previous members of both Avant and Trident. Blue and Wolfie of Avant joined Jarzen of Trident, and the three were then joined by Skurzum. Shout out to Skurzum, he's actually the one who gave me the idea to do this video, so props to you. This team was then called Eat, Sleep, Game, Repeat, or ESGR as I'll be calling. Incept had made some changes as well. Jake, or Invincible, was replaced by Rival, and the team was then picked up to play under Team Skyfire with Hopi as its captain. Incept was then reformed under Invincible, picking up Varanzan, Asters, and Blade. On to the actual 10K event itself. There was a big upset on day 1, when Avant-Garde were 3-0'd by Integral early in pool play. Integral would go on to lose to ESGR on the next day, putting them in third place overall, and not bad for a newly formed team. In the double elimination bracket on day 2, however, Integral were 3-0'd themselves by ESGR. ESGR went on to face Mindfreak in the grand final. Not a bad feat for a pickup team. Despite putting on a good performance, they weren't able to take a map against Mindfreak in the grand final and ended the continuation series with a score of 6-1 to Mindfreak. Mindfreak took out first place overall, ESGR were second, followed by Integral and Skyfire in third and fourth places respectively. The final LAN event of the year was ACL Melbourne. This was on September 5th and 6th. This was a low-key event as the year was winding down. There were none of the big-name teams that you would expect to see there, such as Mindfreak, Skyfire, Trident, Avant, and so on and so forth. Still, let's look at some of the changes that were made after the Does Play 10K. Immediately after the 10K, Fate left Integral to rejoin Avant, replacing Iskatu, who announced that he would be going on hiatus. Swifty also left Integral, replacing Jarzen in the ESGR lineup, and the ESGR team were then picked up to play under Trident Esports. The Melbourne event itself was very low-key. A pickup team named Super Saiyans placed first. They beat Citadel 6-4 in the grand final game. Third place went to True Ambition Naga. That's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. You can find a spreadsheet that I made showing all the changes throughout the year in the description below. If you have any feedback, feel free to leave a comment, or you can hit me up on Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe for more ANZ COD videos. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Mwah.